Okay, guys, welcome to Living 1 Month Ahead. This is the thing that will stop you from getting out of debt. It will stop you from getting into more debt. It's going to stop you from building debt. It is going to be the thing that you're like, wow, I never knew I could live like this. And what I'm going to be teaching you is pretty much how to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle that most people live within. So they live within a cycle of, and for us as entrepreneurs, right, it's not paycheck to paycheck, it's kind of client payment to client payment, or it's kind of booking new client to next client, right? And we get a payment from a client and it's like, great, that payment can pay for next week's bills and the bills at the end of the month or the bills at the beginning of that month, right? It's always like we're trying to catch up. Now, what we want to do is we want to stop that cycle because when you live within that cycle, it's very easy to build debt and it's very hard to stop building debt. It's either you can't pause the debt that you're building or you keep building debt. And this is why. It's because we aren't actually living 1 month ahead of our expenses. And what I mean by this is within my own budget, my own personal budget, all the money that I am using to pay for January's bills was made in December. So all of December's money paid for January's bills. And I pretty much live all the money that I get in January pays for February's bills. And that's also in addition to my savings account. So I basically have this 1 month buffer. And then if I ever fall into other hard times, I use my savings then. So I don't build credit card debt. When you live like this, I can tell you there is so much less pressure. Like, I just don't feel as much pressure around launches. I don't feel as much pressure around people paying or people dropping off. Don't feel that anymore. And I think it's also fair to note in here that as entrepreneurs, there are moments when people stop making payments. There's moments when people cancel contracts or they just don't follow through with things like that. Happens all the time in a business. So it's important for us to build that buffer. So I'm building off of, speaking of building, I'm building off of the last lesson. So if you have not seen the last lesson in the last module, you need to go back and watch that lesson before you can do this. All right. Every lesson from here on out kind of builds on each other. So I'll be using the budget where it's at right now and then building from that. Okay. So last time I left off, we had a business credit card balance of $10,000. We had $5,000 in our checking account. After allocating all the expenses that I still needed to pay for, I was saying, for example, the month of January, that's what I have here. Um, this is how much money I have. Now, this is also after I have allocated money to a photo shoot because I know I'm going to be needing to make another payment on that. I wanted to buy a Facebook ads course, and that's here. And anything else you can kind of think of that's actually coming up in the future will really help you. Don't try to live really lean. Don't try to say to yourself, you don't need that Facebook ads course. You don't need the photo shoot. You don't this is all about being honest with yourself. Yes, you do need the Facebook ads course. Yes, you do need the photo shoot. It's just being like honest and realistic with yourself. You've already committed to the photo shoot. You know, you need the ads in order to hit your bigger launch goals next time. It's all about being honest. All right. So now that we're here, we have $205 left. And most people, when they would see this number and after doing all of these things, it's always, oh, let me dump it to my debt. And I'm going to tell you, do not do that. Don't do that. What you want to do is, of course, make the minimum credit card payment if that's what you're doing. If you have more after doing this assignment, then of course, we're going to go into something else you should be doing. So just don't do anything with that extra money yet. But for right now, what we want to be doing is we want to be taking any money that's left over after putting all the money aside for the month's transactions and also future payments that are coming up. And we're going to put this towards next month. So our next month bucket, basically, we want this bucket to reflect exactly how much money we need month to month. All right. So, like I said, if we click on this button here, this button is going to tell me all of the money that I need in order to live with bare bones and then in order to do some other things here. Now, in your YNAB, you might not have all of these transactions, especially if you're doing it within the middle of the month or whatever. So that's okay. Do it manually. Figure out how much money you need in order to live with your bare bones. How much is going to cost you to have your email host, to have your website hosted, to meet with clients over Zoom. Get that number down And don't forget the other numbers. Don't forget to add, if you do have someone on your team that you pay every single month, make sure to include that in how much you need to put in your next month bucket. If you are also making payments on a program or a course, make sure to include that in your next month bucket. So basically, this bucket next month is all about hitting a targeted amount of money that will keep you living 1 month ahead. So, for example, I know that come the month of February, if I click on all of these, I have a certain amount, right? That's here, that's allocated. So, I know I need that much money. And then I also am making payments here. I'm also making payments here in the month of February. So that I can see in total, there's around $3,574 that I'm going to need to fill this bucket up. I'm going to need 3,000. I'm just going to round it $3,500. Okay. So I'm going to need to fill this up to $3,500, and that will get me to living 1 month ahead. So the next question, of course, is how the F do I do that when I'm just living paycheck to paycheck, client to client? Maybe I'm not even covering all of it. And there are so many different ways we can go about doing this. One, we can always increase income. We can always, have a launch of something. We can always sign another client. We can always, possibly raise our prices if that's been something you've been needing to do. Just think about all the ways that you can currently increase your income so you can get that $3,500 on top of everything else that you're making. $3,500 could be like one client, it could be one intensive, it could be one, just it could be one launch, it could be something simple, right? Okay, so that's the thing you want to do for increasing your income. Two, you could also live really lean for 1 month. This was the route that I went because increasing my income at the time I was pregnant and really sick and just it was not happening. So I had to go the route of really getting lean with my money. So I had money coming in. I lived on my bare bones budget. And then that's how I was able to get ahead. Three is also just taking your time. You know, if saving up 3,500 is going to take you time, if you only have $200 left over every single month, that's okay. Put 200 aside every single month until you get there. Or maybe there's a month where we all have those months, right? There's some months where things are slower and there's some months when things are big. People pay in full $10,000, people pay in full $20,000, right? There's going to be something where there's going to be a month where it's going to be like, great, it's going to get you to that point. But it's just all about us thinking, okay, I need to find a way to create $3,500. And I can do this. All of us are creative, all of us are capable, all of us have done some pretty cool shit, right? Like in our lives and in our business. And if you think of all the money you've created over time, it's a lot. It's way more than $3,500, okay? Also, there could be lots of things coming up. You could be like, hey, you know what? I don't need my virtual assistant next month because I'm taking some time off. So maybe I can put my virtual assistant on pause. That's $1,500 right there. You're almost halfway to the goal, right? Or it could be, hey, my net worthy woman payments are coming to an end. There you go, almost halfway there. Or my business coach contract, she's ending with me here. I'll take a month off and then I'll hire my coach again after that. That's another way. And it also doesn't have to be that way. It could just be, you know what, I'm going to try to sell an intensive for $3,500 and give people an incentive to pay, give a 2 month payment plan, whatever it is, just be creative with creating that money for yourself and be empowered around the experience. I don't want it to be an experience where it's, I'm living really lean and I'm like hating life because I'm trying to get 1 month ahead. This is all about an empowering experience. Okay, guys, so this was how to live 1 month ahead. Of course, if you have any questions, if anything seems confusing, please tag me in the Facebook group, ask me the questions, or bring your questions to the mastermind calls, and we can talk about how you can get 1 month ahead without it feeling so overwhelming. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.